Hi there, KOIN 6 meteorologist Josh Cozart here with a special edition of KOIN Now as a severe thunderstorm potential rapidly increases here across the Pacific Northwest. Let's go ahead and dive into it because this is where our biggest cause for concern is as we move our way through the rest of this evening. It's going to be along the Willamette Valley. Hey, it might be a little deceiving right now because of all of the sunny skies, the above average temperatures. It feels like a nice spring day, but it's all of those factors that are really helping to potentially bubble up a lot of our severe weather potential as we move our way through the rest of this evening. So it goes without saying, a KOIN 6 weather alert is in place for the remainder of this evening. The time frame we're looking at is anywhere from about 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock in the evening, where we could potentially see these explosive thunderstorms. Now, we are live right now on KOIN.com, also on YouTube and Facebook. This is your opportunity to ask your questions in the comments below. That way we can give you the latest weather forecast for your exact location. Also, make sure to share this on social media as well. That way we get all of this very important information out that could potentially save some of your property, and hopefully we don't dive into the potential life-saving scenario, but that potential is alive and well as the threat of severe weather continues to ramp up for us here across the Pacific Northwest. Let's first start off with the record-breaking temperatures. 81 degrees, that's what we've already climbed to so far today, surpassing the record-breaking temperature of 80 that we experienced just this time yesterday. This smashes the old record set last back in 2015 with a high of 73 degrees. 80s, very rare for us here in the Pacific Northwest, especially when we were talking about the month of March. But it's all of this heat that's really going to be building up across our area that poses a bit of a chance for us to see those explosive thunderstorms that will be building rapidly over the next several hours. So you can see our temperatures here up and down the I-5 corridor, mid-70s, low 80s for us, 60s also along the coastline as well. There you go, already having that severe thunderstorm watch. A watch means that conditions are possible for us here across the Pacific Northwest as we see these thunderstorms start to bubble up. There are no warnings right now, but we do have that potential as I go ahead and just kind of take this full. That way we can really dissect and break down exactly where this is. So that severe thunderstorm watch, again, does include all of the Willamette Valley with the exception of parts of Lane County. We're already starting to see some of those thunderstorms fire up out towards the coast range thanks to a little bit of additional uplift. Also seeing some of those lightning strikes starting to fire up. This is just one potential for us as we move our way, and a little bit of an interesting look here as far as the shape. You can almost see that view as far as the hook goes. So I'm going to pull up just another product for us to look at here. This is our velocity. So we like to look at this a lot when we are talking about the potential for rotation within a storm system. This is something we will be keeping a very close eye on over the next little while. You have the inbound, which is the green, which is the winds blowing towards our radar site, which is located just out towards the airport. You can see it's that circle there just north of North Plains. But right now, I'm not seeing any rotation, so that is the good news. But we're going to be keeping an extremely close eye on our velocity. So our wind direction, the red, that's the outbound. The wind's blowing away from our radar site. All a potential as we move our way through the rest of the afternoon. Now, many of us are saying, hey, you know, this is something that we aren't seeing building rapidly across our area because of the sunshine that's been building as of late. I want to talk about CAP. So this is what we really like to look at when we are talking about the storm development stage as it just loads up for us here. We've been raining down the sunshine for us here across the Pacific Northwest all day long. It's building up the heat. Keep in mind, if you're cooking, your steam is going to be rising. That's exactly what's happening to the atmosphere right now. We are seeing the warm air rising, but we have this other warm layer of air in the middle of the atmosphere that's stopping any of that warm air from going up any higher, continuing the cooling process. So when you get the warm air to rise and cool, that is what creates clouds. Now, since we have this cap overhead, it will eventually begin to break. Once it breaks or even thins, that's where we are able to grab all of that warm, moist air that is currently available in the atmosphere and send it higher up into the atmosphere. That's where the explosive and rapid intensification of thunderstorms is expected to build here over the next several hours. So that's why it's a little deceiving. We're getting the warm, sunny skies. That will be changing as we continue to push our way through the rest of this evening. Again, you can see that right now with our radar and satellite picking up on a lot of that lightning activity already just to the south and west of the Portland metro area. And everything's going to be tracking its way from the south to the north. You can already see over about the past 2 hours just how explosive some of those rain showers have grown. Parts of western Lane County, also going from sunshine rapidly to the cloud coverage, and now a few of those light rain showers, and we're only going to intensify that potential for severe thunderstorms as this massive storm continues to spin just offshore. This is going to be the culprit and the kind of the heartbeat of this storm system that we are expected to see move through much of the Pacific Northwest. Now, I do want to talk about that severe potential. We have to have all of the ingredients to be able to make this come together. And right now we have that severe thunderstorm watch, means that conditions are favorable for thunderstorms to start and spread rapidly in this type of scenario. Something we don't necessarily always see here in the Pacific Northwest. But to get a severe thunderstorm warning, so that's where the threat is immediately happening, you have to have one or both winds of 58 miles per hour or greater, or hail, the diameter of it, an inch or greater. Those are all a potential for us here across the Pacific Northwest today. Lightning, although it will be abundant, not necessarily a severe weather threat for us. That doesn't prompt a severe thunderstorm warning. That's why we're not currently seeing that with our watch box or with our warning in effect right now with those lightning strikes. But this is just a sign. And we told you on KOIN 6 yesterday about 2 o'clock to 7. It's now 3:23. Seeing some of those thunderstorms already starting to fire up just west of the Willamette Valley and expected to intensify. Let's go ahead and discuss exactly where that threat currently lies, exactly where the slight risk is. So that's about a 2 out of 5 chance to see severe thunderstorms. This is where our greatest threat will lie, stretching from northern Douglas County all the way up into Seattle. Unusual sight to actually see a slight risk, especially in the month of March. But it's the hail size that could potentially be damaging, 1 to 2 inches possible within that yellow shaded area. Winds 40 to 60 miles per hour, and there is a very slim chance for a tornado or two to spin up. So we are going to be keeping an extremely close eye on this over the next several hours. You can already see the cloud coverage starting to build over downtown Portland, a much different picture than what we were seeing just about 30 minutes or so ago. And that's where we anticipate all of this weather to push its way from the south to the north. So the image below me, that's looking north out towards Mount St. Helens. Still blue skies, some sunshine, but the image that you see just to my left here, that's where we are picking up on some of that cloud coverage already racing its way back into our area, and the thunderstorm potential is really going to be taking us through about 7 o'clock tonight. Let's go ahead and dive in again, just take one more look at our radar. I'm going to take this full force, see if you all have any questions, comments, or concerns as the severe weather threat really starts to ramp up again with that watch box currently in place. That's where we're seeing it's the yellow line stretching from northern Lane County stretching all the way up into southwest Washington. So this is going to be kind of the go time for us as we move our way through the next several hours. Again, large hail, tornadoes, all a possibility as we just kind of get everything load up for us once more. Looking at just some of your comments, questions, and concerns right here on Facebook. Sandy says, Southeast Vancouver, Camas, hail size estimate, again, anywhere from about 1 to 2 inches. We're really expecting to see some of the brunt of the severe weather and potentially the hail to be in southwest Washington. We're looking at Clark County, maybe the battleground area, all a potential for the brunt of this severe weather. Just scrolling through some of, Mars just asked, battleground, yes, kind of the bullseye. We actually have Ariel Yakabazi. She's going to be starting south of Portland in Mobile 6 and traveling north. Her end goal will be battleground to give us the live updates because I anticipate that to kind of be the heartbeat of the potential of the severe weather this afternoon and evening. Debbie also says it's just now changed from 80 degrees to 78. That's another big takeaway is we are going to see almost a 20-degree temperature drop within about 3 hours. All of this is associated with a cold front. And let me just pull it up here to help better explain this, because this is pretty remarkable for this type of event. Let's get a playing for you guys here. So what we have right now is this massive low pressure system just to the west of us. We already felt the impacts of the warm front. We are in the warm sector of the storm right now. That's where all the warm, moist air is being drawn up from the Pacific Ocean, moving its way into western Oregon, southwest Washington. That's why our temperatures are so hot, and that's why it feels so muggy outside. On the backside of this cold front, so looking just to the west of the blue line with the triangles, that's where the colder air resides. Still, it's going to be moist given the situation of where it's setting up over the Pacific, but it's that cold and warm air clash that's really going to create for some instability in our atmosphere. As it pushes its way into our area, that's going to help all of those thunderstorms to bubble up. And it's once that cold front passes, we will go from the 80s down to the 60s, about a 20-degree temperature drop within just a couple of hours. A very real possibility as we move our way through the rest of this evening. So really remarkable stuff. And something that we would typically talk about in the Midwest as opposed to us here in the Pacific Northwest. Not something that we always get to see. I'm going to go ahead and take this full again just to give us the latest radar look. I'm taking a look at more of your guys' comments. Camas could potentially be in the bullseye as well. Primarily, it's going to be over the foothills of the Cascades. So this is going to be east of the Portland-Vancouver metro area. So Camas, a potential to pick up on some of that larger hail as well. Just looking at more of your comments. Keep them coming, please. Massive storm, Eric says. This could potentially be a massive storm. It could also just be a garden variety thunderstorm, but all of the potential ingredients are there to create quite the active evening for us. I know, a bit deceiving with that sunshine that we're currently seeing. Let's see here. Getting some reports of some clouds, wind, and sprinkles in the Dallas area. Again, some of the wind gusts could potentially near 40 to 60 miles per hour as all of this really starts to bubble up. Hillsboro, Lori asks, Hillsboro in the potential to pick up on some heavier downpours, maybe within about the next 30 minutes or so as this one cell continues to track its way from the south to the north over the Coast Range. It could bleed over into the Hillsboro area a little bit. You might be able to see some of that thunderstorm activity more so off in the distance for us as opposed to actually seeing the lightning striking around you. But if you are close enough to those thunderstorms to be able to see that, you need to be heading indoors. I do want to go ahead and just bring us some cautionary notes as well, especially when we are talking about that lightning potential. That's where we need to be extremely cautious. Lightning's something that sometimes happens for us here in the Pacific Northwest. National Weather Service always says when thunder roars, go indoors. That is a good word of advice. You don't have to have a thunderstorm right overhead to be able to be struck by lightning. We call those bolts from the blue. So it could be perfectly sunny out, but if you see off in the distance or hear thunder, see a thunderstorm, lightning strikes off in the distance, you have the potential to be struck as well. So you need to seek shelter in a building or a hard-topped metal vehicle, and do not seek shelter under trees if you are caught outside. So make sure to use wise choices as we move our way through the rest of this evening, as that lightning potential is expected to really become robust by about the next 30 minutes or so. This is a snapshot of about 4 o'clock, and I got to give it away to the weather models really indicating for western sections of Washington County, western sections of Columbia County. That's where we could potentially see some of the greatest lightning strikes, and that's coinciding with that stronger cell right now that's tracking its way from the south to the north. Also parts of Clark County picking up on some of that thunderstorm activity. You'll notice, though, as I kind of put this into motion, that it's going to stick around the Portland-Vancouver area. Again, Clark County, a potential. This is potentially into the Beaverton area, out towards Wilsonville, all a possibility to see these lightning strikes by about 5 o'clock. But you'll notice as 6 o'clock rolls around, it moves over more of the high terrain of the Cascades before it all starts to diminish as we approach the sunset hour. And that's where we really expect to see that thunderstorm potential fall back. But again, that threat, a slight risk, about a 1 out of 5 chance, or I should say 2 out of 5 chance to see things like large hail, lightning, winds, all a possibility. And when we are talking about hail size, this is pretty impressive. Just to give you a little bit of background of how hail actually forms, is we get these strong updrafts. So that's what's currently forming without the visual impact of the clouds, where that warm air is going up in higher elevated locations. It's cooling, it's condensing, eventually turning into those clouds. And it's that updraft that's able to grab those water droplets. And as you get above the freezing line, that's where you see those water droplets freeze. They get heavy enough, they start to fall back into the warmer air, they touch more of the rain droplets, and then that updraft sucks it back up above the freezing line, refreezing that fresh water that is now attached to the ice. Eventually it gets heavy enough that the updraft isn't strong enough to be able to hold that ice up in the air. That's when it falls to the ground. But we have the potential to see very strong updrafts as we move our way through the rest of this evening that could potentially create some very large hail. As the size really is indicated, anywhere from about 1 inch to 2 inches, all a possibility. Not only just rare for us here in the Pacific Northwest, but extremely rare for us here along the I-5 corridor. This is something we would talk about in the Midwest on any given significantly strong thunderstorm potential. We're talking about quarter-size hail all the way up to a hen's egg. I know eggs are expensive right now. We unfortunately might be seeing some of those being sent our way. Of course, not quite as delicious as eggs themselves. But again, that hail threat, a very real potential where it could be anywhere from 1 inch to 2 inches in diameter. That can create a lot of damage. So I've gotten a lot of messages today of people asking, what do I do about my vehicle? If you can park in an area that is covered, do not park your car under overpasses or bridges. I know we are in abundance with them here. That creates a lot of danger for motorists. Do not stop on the roadways under a bridge or overpass. That's not the thing to do. Find a parking garage. Do this before the storm actually hits. Now is the time to maybe take your vehicle into your garage. Find a parking location. Those are going to be the best things to do right now before the storm actually moves its way into our area. So, with that being said, if you can't get to a location, you know what we do in the Midwest? I'm from the Midwest. I have a great deal in hail situations is kind of a makeshift protection. Doesn't guarantee anything, but if you are really concerned, and as we move our way through the rest of this evening, if you see that hail is moving towards your area, that's where you could potentially maybe take your bed comforter. You want to lay it and drape it over your vehicle, spray it down with water, that way the wind doesn't just take it right off. It'll help to kind of weigh it down, but that gives you just a little bit of a protection or a barrier between your vehicle and those hailstones. But we're talking about maybe damage to plants, the Portland cherry blossoms. If the winds pick up strong enough, it's going to be bringing a lot of those petals down prematurely after seeing the peak just over the past 2 to 3 days really starting to ramp up. So let's talk about the timeline. This is going to take us step by step through where the most potential impacts are going to be. You can see it's traveling its way from the south to the north as we move our way. This is a snapshot of about 4 o'clock this evening. Those yellows, the oranges, the reds, all a good indication of where the strongest potential for severe weather will crop up. We're talking about west, primarily over the higher terrain, but still the I-5 corridor, the Willamette Valley, of potential either on the west or the east side of town. By about 8 o'clock, still holding on to some heavier downpours, but as we get into the sunset hour, we lose that source of energy, the warmth from the sunlight. We're now covered in clouds for quite some time. That's where that threat is expected to diminish significantly. Then it's just scattered showers by about 9 o'clock in the evening. That's going to take us through the rest of this evening into the start of the day tomorrow. But then we are matched with just kind of our typical Pacific Northwest rains. The wind will also be gusty, nearing about 20 to 25, if not even 30 miles per hour, as this whole major system continues to track its way across our area. I want to go ahead and take another live look at our radar right now, where all of this activity is starting to fire up. We'll go ahead and just take this full so we can do some dissecting here. Again, that one cell really starting to bubble up again, just west of the northwest now of McMinnville, just west of the Washington County area, west of Forest Grove. This is all tracking its way from the south to the north. A lot of lightning strikes associated with this as well. We'll go ahead and just get our watch box back into place. So this is following where the potential for severe thunderstorms will start to crop its way back up. Right now, there is no severe thunderstorm warnings in effect, but that potential still remains at this point in time. Just try to make things a little bit more visually appealing for us here and save it up. So yeah, all of this is tracking its way from the south to the north. You can see in the parts of Douglas County, the southern Willamette Valley, where all of this is really starting to fire up, tracking its way to the north. But we do have this one stronger cell right now tracking its way to the north, and that's going to create that thunderstorm potential that right now it's looking like it's slowly starting to weaken, and that is the good news. We'll go ahead and just try to flip around some of our cameras here. Take a look out towards the Forest Grove area. If I could just find it here. That can be...
Which is rare for Mark Wilbur.
Here we go. We got our Forest Grove camera. I'm going to take that full. That way we can all just kind of see exactly what's happening there. Clouds definitely starting to roll their way through. Keep in mind that this storm is just to the west of the Forest Grove area. So not surprising that we're seeing that increase in the cloud coverage. It looks like maybe a few rain droplets being thrown our direction as well. That is a very real potential as the system, again, tracks its way to the south to the north. This is just the beginning of the active weather that we are expected to see here across much of the Pacific Northwest. I'm just going to throw back in one of our other tower cameras. You can see those dark storm clouds already starting to roll their way back into our area here in downtown Portland with the image below me. But that's going to conclude this KOIN Now. As a KOIN 6 weather alert still remains in place, I will have all of the latest information coming up tonight on KOIN 6 CBS starting at 4 o'clock. So within about the next 20 minutes or so, we'll have the latest updates along with your latest headlines and also some sports updates. But you can always catch the latest weather forecast, tracking it live on KOIN.com or downloading the PDX weather app or the KOIN News app. We've also got a brand new streaming service. It's called KOIN Plus, found on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and also on Apple TV. So that's where you can get the latest information right now as we potentially see the severe thunderstorm activity ramp up over the next several hours. But until then, we will catch you on TV. Have a great rest of your night.